Hello YouTube, how are you all? I hope you're keeping well and looking after yourselves. Thank you so much for clicking on the thumbnail for this video. Something a little bit different, I'm doing a gear review for a change, and I will be going through the pros and cons of the 3F UL Lanshan 2 4-season tent. Now I don't usually do gear reviews, but I made an exception for this tent. I've had it for well over a year now. I've used it all over the place, including the Peak District, Lake District, and lots of camps locally here in Northamptonshire. And I'm going to give you my very honest review, all the things I love about it and all the things I don't love about it. So whilst I'm walking through these beautiful woodlands, I'm going to find somewhere suitable to pitch up, and then I'll go through the finer details with you. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in a min. Here we have the Lanshan 2 4-season tent in its compression sack. It weighs just over 1 kilo. That is ultralight. It is about 1,060 grams. And as you can see, it's about the same size as a rugby ball. However, you do need to have 2 trekking poles or an alternative to that to put this tent up. So that's 2. I have Trekology poles that I use, and they've been very reliable for this whole time. Okay, let's unpack and see what it's like inside. When I bought this, it did come with some spare guy lines as well, and also a patch of material to repair any rips and tears. I don't actually know what I've done with it. It's probably at home somewhere, but it does come with those extra bits as well. And the tent stakes or tent pegs are very, very simple. I haven't bent any of them or snapped any of them, so they are robust. I believe they're made out of titanium, and there's enough pegs to guy out everything that needs to be guyed out. The only thing is with these is they're not particularly long, and if you're in soft ground they can be a bit of an issue. But I'll talk to you about the pegs a little bit more later on, and I'll show you what I've done to overcome this issue. When you buy this tent, the outer and the inner aren't connected, but it's a very, very easy job to do. There's just toggles on the inside and you just pop them through, and then you can keep the whole thing connected, which means if it's raining, the inner won't get wet. I never bought a footprint, so I have no opinion on that. Personally, I don't feel that I need one, but I know some people love a good footprint. Right, let's carry on and get this put up. First thing I like to do is get 4 pegs and loosely pin down all the corners. If it's windy, you don't want it blowing away. This guy line is attached to the inner where the bathtub is. And then with this one, go for the orange loop and put your peg through there. Once you've got your poles in, you can then start to tighten up this bit here. Let's put that in at a 45-degree angle, and let's go and do the other ones. Time to grab your trekking pole. 3F UL recommend that you have your trekking pole set to 120 centimeters. Some people do go a little bit higher, up to 125 centimeters or even up to 135 centimeters. I don't need that extra headroom, so I'm okay with 120. Now the first time I did this, I made a right hodgepodge of it, and I had a go at trying to put it up in my garden. Here's a photo of that moment. It's rather embarrassing, but I can confidently say now that I'm competent in putting this tent up. And if you're new to a bit of kit, practice it at home first. It saves any embarrassments for when you're actually out there in the wild. Right, let's get these put in. The guys on the vestibule come with a little loop. Keep that loop there, don't untie it, because that's where you need to peg it out. And you can use this adjuster to either tighten it or loosen it depending on how much flexibility you want in the material. The seams already come taped up and waterproof, but I did add my own sealant to it just to be on the safe side. I would recommend seam sealing this bit here that attaches the guy line to the center of the fly, just to make sure no rain or water gets in there. If you are going to seam seal it, make sure you use the right one, or else you could end up damaging the material. There we go, pitched up in under 10 minutes. And you'll notice that when I was pitching it up, the pegs did fly out. One, because the ground is really soft where I am, and secondly, the pegs are not particularly long, so you don't get as much purchase. But never mind, still managed to get the whole thing up in under 10 minutes, which I think is pretty darn good. Let's have a little closer look at what the Lanshan 2 looks like. Usually I put a peg on this bit here and then peg that up to the outer, just so it's not in my face. It is a little bit annoying, but a simple peg will fix that no problem. Or you could take the toggle and shove it under there. Looks a little bit messy, but does the job, doesn't it? Now, this tent is marketed as a 2-person tent, and I say, yes, it is a 2-person tent. You could quite easily get 2 sleeping pads, 2 bags, and 2 average sized people in here. I do think if you were over the 6-foot mark, your head might actually be touching the inner sheet. So you might want to check the dimensions before you buy this tent. And you've got lots of vestibule space to put all your bags. My feet are still at the far end of the tent. And if I lie down, I've got loads of headroom still. So even for a taller person, this is okay. I'm 5'3½", or 161 centimeters for those of you that talk in metric. And I've got loads of room to spread out on either side. Whoa, love it. At the top of the tent, between the 2 trekking poles, I've put in an extra guideline as a washing line to hang any bits and pieces, hang my head torch from, or any wet socks. It's actually a nature hike guy line, and I can adjust the tension in that. I purchased this tent in January 2021 from AliExpress. It cost me £119, and I paid an additional £23 in tax on top of that. Personally, I wouldn't buy a tent from AliExpress again. For me, it worked out, but I know lots of other people that have bought tents from AliExpress and they've been sent the wrong product. For example, I know someone that bought a Lanshan 1 and they wanted the khaki colour. Quite understandable if you're into wild camping. They got sent a white one. And it's quite a faff having to email their customer services, send it back over to China, get a refund. It's just a bit of a headache. It worked out for me, but I know lots of other people have had problems with using AliExpress. So try and find a UK-based retailer such as Outdoor Gear Essentials. I'll leave a link in the description box below for their website, and they are also on Instagram and Facebook. So do check out Outdoor Gear Essentials. They've got lots of 3F UL gear and nature hike tents. So they are aimed at the ultralight range and also the budget end. Not everybody can afford a Hilleberg that's £800, and this has been a great tent for me. Yes, I have had to swap the pegs out. I did buy some Delta anchor pegs, and as you can see, they're a great shape. They're not the smallest or the lightest, but they don't add that much weight to my kit. And once you put the guy line onto this hook, any tension that pulls, it anchors through, and you get really good purchase in the ground. These were an additional cost, but definitely well worth it. When I was up on Brownclea Hill in Shropshire, if it hadn't been for these Delta anchors, I don't think my tent would have stayed up. It was very windy and the elements were unleashing all kinds of hell on us that night. So yeah, do think about decent tent pegs. It doesn't have to be these ones, but something that's a bit longer, that's really going to dig into the ground and keep you safe and secure. So that's it. I hope you've enjoyed the review. If you have any questions, do leave your comments below and I will get back to you as soon as I can. If you've liked what you've seen, do give it a big thumbs up. Hit that thumbs up button below. Think about subscribing, so each time I upload new content you'll be made aware. And thank you so much for watching. And if you're a regular to my channel, thank you so much for your support. I really do appreciate it. I haven't been able to get out for many wild camping trips this month. I've had a lot of college work on, assignment writing, and then I caught COVID, which took me out for a week and a half, which was really unpleasant, and I wouldn't wish it upon anybody. But today I managed to get out into the woods, nice fresh air, get the tent out, give it a good airing, and give you guys a little bit of insight into this bit of kit. No regrets buying this. I would say though, if you are a trekking pole person, it's a fantastic tent. If you're not a trekking pole person, maybe just look around and see what else is in the same sort of money range. All right. But hey, I'm not an expert on all things. I'm just giving you my very honest and humble opinion. Thank you for tuning in. Look after yourselves, and I'll see you on another one. Bye bye.